A little bit about assessments. Linda and I thought just to give you guys some heads up, and I am going to post this online someplace for you guys to use sometime in the future, along with the video of this day. But all the high schools, and I believe the middle schools, should have at least one copy of, or have some copies of the transition planning inventory. It's a survey form. There are the forms. That's one example of a system. WISC Careers, the district is now exclusively using, I believe, district-wide, whereas before some high schools were using one, others were using others. Right now, WISC Careers, there are tremendous amounts of opportunities on WISC Careers to do some transition planning. There's inventories, there's full-blown assessments that are free for you to use, and kids can keep portfolios there. So it's a good opportunity if you work with the student you're working with and get things done. The WISTI website, it's wsti.org, okay? Has just tons of free and assessments for cost, all kinds. They're there, they're available, and you go to the website, and if you just go to the website and you can't find it, just do a search on assessments, and it'll bring you to the page. It's actually a PDF document that just lists out free ones for cost, ones you can do online, so it's even categorized for you. Career cluster interest survey. Linda found this at the date we were told about these changes. Linda and I went and we had a little bit of an in-service. This thing it's the Madison Area Technical College. It's free and it's supposed to be really powerful. Just another option for you to use that you might not know about. Okay? And if you do a Google search on transition assessments, I think you will find that you will not run out of days. I mean, you'd run out of days and time before you can get through them all. There's just tons of things come up because this isn't just us in this boat. It's everybody around the whole country. So it's not just Wisconsin's thing. Okay. The other thing we wanted to tell you about is opening doors. I think many of you have used opening doors in the past, but now they have opening doors in 4 distinct areas: employment, self-determination, adult services, and post-secondary education and training. They cost money if you want the actual booklet, but you can get them online. There's a PDF online free. So you can download it, and you can access it with kids online. You can send it, the document, to parents electronically, or just send them the link to it, and they can get on and use it. And there are assessment tools in there also. Okay, practice time. Now what I want you to do is, we talked about kind of the before meeting and a couple things. What I'd like you to do is, because you're probably sick of me talking, anyway, complete steps 1 through 7, okay, in the demonstration site. If you go back to the indicator 13 site, on the bottom of the blue box in the center where you went to the web access management, on the bottom there's a demonstration site. If you go there, it'll allow you to create a demo PTP. This is identical. There are some features that are missing, and I'll talk about those later because I just learned about what's not there that will be there later. But you can go there and play around. Now, think about a kid, or do yourself if you want, because it might be easier to kind of think about yourself as a teenager or what you were thinking to kind of go through it. Use both yeses and nos, because if you say yes on some of the questions, it takes you a different route than if you say no. Oftentimes, if you say no, they ask more questions. I just wanted to remind you that you have, and the program will not allow you to move on if you don't have education and employment. Okay, education / training and employment. If you don't have it, it doesn't let you move on. So there's a catch there. And try it, play around with it, just to make sure. But you could go on without living skills, because living skills is an IEP and family decision. Do we need some goals for independent living skills? Will this individual naturally transition into adult life and live on their own without thinking about it? Okay? If the answer is no, then think about it and make a plan, make a goal. What is their goal going to be? For some of our students in that 1% group, the kids that are more significantly disabled, we might talk about them living with supported housing, that type of thing. So be conscious of those decisions. And I think even in middle school, you can start talking about it. Is it necessarily set in stone that that's what it's going to end up to be when they're a senior and turning 21 or whatever? No, but it's a place to start. And it's the conversation you should be having with parents, because I can tell you from experience, parents don't think about all these things. And sometimes they get to that junior year in high school and you're saying, did you sign up for family care, adult care services? Have you thought about where they're going to live when they're 25 years old and 30? And when they say no, and it's hard for them to change their mindsets. And processing time is helpful for all of us. So good time to start. So at that age 14, 13, when you're starting. The other part about goals, and this is kind of a hang up for everybody, is a related annual goal. If you must have a goal, an annual goal that somehow relates to their goals, post-secondary goals. Does that mean you have to have a goal called transition? No, it doesn't mean that. Your goal for behavior, for his ability to stay on task and be on task, if he wants to get a job, that relates to getting a job. A student's goal to improve reading and writing, and that student wants to go to college, that is related to that task of going to college. Improve their chances of doing well on the ACT, and the kid will have a chance, okay, to get into college. Sometimes, though, you don't have anything that relates, then you might have to figure out a goal that relates. And you have to be thinking about that. Now, when you get to this part on the IEP, there's a box there that you can put the goal in. And Linda will tell you that best practice would have you actually write the goal that pertains to them moving towards their transition goal into that box on there. It doesn't say you have to. It says you may do it. We're just trying to help you not get red flagged, okay? So put something in there. People are looking at it. The goal's in there that relates. It's easy for them to look at. And the reason we know that is last year when we did the audit, we had to go back and look at every IEP back at the I-6. Took a little extra step. And I'm thinking when people are starting to audit and they're getting angry, that they have to go back and look. If it's right there, it might be easier. They might check yes a lot quicker than they do if they have to look back in the IEP. I don't know, but just a hint. So now, the one thing I want you to do is when you're looking at these things, look at all the different kinds of jobs. Joe was just telling me he couldn't find custodian. Now, I just happen to know I found it, but it wasn't, I don't remember it being the word custodian. It was something else, and I did find it in one of the areas. This is an area where you can play around for a while and just see what different jobs are and how to search for them and how to find them. A key to help you is, on that page, when you get to that employment page, above there's a career cluster link. If you click on that, you can type in jobs and it'll tell you cluster areas to look for that job in, and that may help you find jobs you're looking for. So just a hint. We're going to take about 6-7 minutes here just to play around with those areas there to play around. Remember to look at the Learn More. If you have questions, write them out. Anybody have questions now before we go? Gina?
I can't remember what number it was, but I think it was in the beginning when you had to pick what they were going to do next, like go to a 2-year college, 4-year
Right.
college. For students,
That's the education training page.
yes.
Right.
So maybe for when it's a short-term educational program, would that be something like SAIL?
No, no. SAIL is still part of their high school. When you say after high school, it's after they have their FAPE. When free and appropriate publication is done, okay, that is after high school. A student that would stay in and go to SAIL or stay in high school at a school or go somewhere else that public school pays for, that's still part of their high school.
Okay, so then on that part, we just not fill that out?
No, you could choose,
Other?
you could choose other, but we always want to,
Oh, yeah, I suppose, duh.
one of the things you don't want to put about other is, when you write stuff in there, you got to be accurate. When you're clicking, it's a little bit easier because you're choosing something they gave you, you can't get it wrong. When you choose other, it's easier to make a mistake, okay? And you obviously can choose other, but the warning from the state and from Linda and I right now is that choosing other may set you up for a little bit of failure. Okay?
What what vocational career do we pick for young adults that are significantly handicapped?
There should be workshop opportunities. You have to look into what is done at a workshop. So it's piecework, things like that. A career related to that would be appropriate. I know that the training part, there is a choice for further training. And I'm not looking at them, but I came up with a couple for people that I was thinking about. But it's a challenge. Yeah. Yeah, you could put a program. Hey, Mark, put the questions down because that's something I can answer. Okay, so we're down to about 5 minute questions. I did have one question I want to answer for everybody. The demo doesn't have everything. One of the interesting things about a demo that drove me nuts is if you go off the demo, you can't go back and redo it. You have to start all over because it is a demo site, and they don't want to save all those demos, right? And there would be no way to save them because you're all basically doing the same thing at the same time. Once you start entering and working on a kid, okay. So when the steps you're missing here is you would go in and you'd log in and it's going to come up to allow you to go into your school and find a kid, a student. Once you find that student and click on them and open them, everything's saved dynamically. It's automatic. It's saved. Okay. When you close out, it might ask you to save because it hadn't or something like that. But when you go back. Let's say the date for the IEP is next week. It won't let you close out and finish that IEP for a future date. Some of you may have gotten to that where you put in next week's date and it won't let you close it out. It won't let you finish it, but it will save the information so then the next time you turn on the computer and you get into there, you'll go finish an existing student. You click on that student and it'll allow you to finish it. The problem is on the demo, they can't do that because they have all this saved junk there and it would clog up their system. So, so that I didn't realize until I talked to DPI yesterday. So that is key to know. Okay, the next area, oops, I went too far.